We welcome His Royal Highness Ambassador Khalid bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, the younger brother of the Crown Prince. Ambassador, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf. Great to be here.
You know, there's some opposition in the Senate and the House to the U.S. support for the Saudis and others in this war in Yemen. I want you to listen to Senator Rand Paul, that he wants the U.S. to stop selling arms, basically, to Saudi Arabia.
Well, here's what's happening in Yemen. We have a terrorist militia that is backed by the biggest sponsor of terrorism, backed by Iran. They decided to take over the country. They decided to slaughter their way through to the capital, and they have launched more than 95 ballistic missiles to Saudi Arabia. They have killed Yemeni people. They have threatened our stability and our security and regional stability and security.
So this is really a proxy war that Saudi Arabia is having with Iran.
This is actually, you know, if we look at on a macro level, Iranian activities in the region, we see Iran have established terrorist militia in Lebanon, Hezbollah, in the early 80s. They have bombed the United States Embassy in 1983. They have bombed the Marine barracks in Lebanon. They have assassinated the Prime Minister. And they have copied that model to Syria. They have, killed 500,000 people in Syria, committed genocide. And they have copied also that model to Iraq. And they have killed 500 American soldiers, injured 1,000. But in Yemen, they're trying to copy also to basically create another Hezbollah in Yemen that will not just threaten our security and Yemeni security, but also regional security.
Because I assume this will be right at the top of the agenda when the Crown Prince meets with President Trump tomorrow. President Trump is considering, for example, ending the U.S. support for the Iran nuclear agreement. What's Saudi Arabia's position on that?
Well, we've been focusing on the weapon of mass destruction, the WMD. What we should really be focusing on is the MD, is the mass destruction that Iran is committing in the region that threatens the regional security and international security. Iran, as I said, have been committing genocide in Syria, have been killing innocent people, have been basically continuing to do this destructive actions with expansionist ideology. We have to work together with our allies in the United States and the international community to push back on that, to increase our economic cooperation, increase our security cooperation, and to basically serve our mutual interests and face our mutual threats.
One final question. When will women have full rights in Saudi Arabia? I know you're making a little progress. They're going to be able to start driving cars, but there's still a long way to go.
Well, let me tell you what's happening in Saudi Arabia. We have currently this long-term strategy, what is called Vision 2030. We have a fascinating change and transformation. We live in a transformation period in Saudi Arabia. We want to reform our economy. We want to modernize our society. We want to empower our youth, including women.